Have you ever seen what 1 pound of fat actually looks like? Well, if you haven't, it might surprise you. And if you're looking to lose some weight in the next few weeks and months, then this might even motivate you. Well, here it is. This is what 1 pound of fat actually looks like. Pretty huge, isn't it? And in today's video, I'm going to give you the definitive step-by-step idiot's guide of how you can very easily lose one of these every single week like clockwork without even trying. And it's going to be so simple that it will be impossible for you to mess it up. And here's why this is so important. Because if you know how to lose one of these, then you have the formula to lose as many as you want. So whether you're looking to lose 5 pounds or 50 pounds, it doesn't matter. Because if I can teach you everything that you need to know to lose 1 pound of fat, then you've got all the tricks of the trade of how to lose as many as you want. And in fact, that's one of the biggest things that holds people back from losing weight in the first place. They become overwhelmed thinking about how much they have to lose before they've even started. But all you need to do right now is focus on losing 1 pound, one of these. You can expect to learn exactly what works and what doesn't work, but more importantly, what to do and what not to do. So, should we get into it? Yeah, I think we should. Before we start though, I feel like I should introduce myself so that you know why you should listen to the advice that I'm going to give you and why you should trust me. If you don't know who I am, my name is Doug, and when I'm not creating YouTube videos like this, I'm a personal trainer and a certified nutritionist. I've been doing this for nearly 6 years now, and I specialize in helping men to lose weight and take back control of their health so that they can double their energy levels and get their edge back. And today, that's exactly what I'm going to help you with. Okay, so step one, the very first thing you need to do is understand your numbers. Most people go into this on a hope and a prayer. They throw everything at it, turn on the afterburners, dial the effort up to 100, then they crash and they burn and they give up after 2 weeks. But if you know your numbers, which are unique to you, then you cannot fail. It takes the guesswork out of the equation and it gives you that control. It puts you in the driver's seat. And the numbers that I'm talking about are your maintenance calorie numbers and your calorie deficit number. So your maintenance calorie number is the number of calories that you need just to sustain your current levels of body weight and body fat. It's based on 4 physiological factors: your age, your weight, your height, and your sex, and then how active your lifestyle is. And I'm going to go one step further, because if you click the first link in the description of this video, it's going to take you to my calorie calculator. All you need to do is put in your age, your weight, your height, your sex, and how active you are, and it's going to give you your maintenance calorie number, but it's also going to give you a recommended daily calorie number, and that is your calorie deficit, which is step 2. And this, quite simply, is where you are eating fewer calories than your maintenance number. In other words, you are burning more calories than you are taking in. Now, because I want to set you up with a very sustainable approach that you can do without even trying, we're going to aim for a 500 calorie deficit per day. So that's going to be 500 calories fewer than your maintenance calorie number. And if you do this, and if you are consistent with it, you will lose 1 pound of body fat every single week. That is because if you multiply 500 by 7 days in a week, that comes out to 3,500 calories. That also happens to be the number of calories in 1 pound of fat. So if you sustain a 500 calorie deficit every single day for 7 days, you're going to have sustained a 3,500 calorie deficit, which means you're going to lose 1 pound of fat, because 1 pound of fat is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. But one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make all of the time is that they create their 500 calorie deficit by eating 500 calories less. We don't want to do that. Honestly, you can do that. But in my opinion, and what I've seen from having worked with over 100 clients in the last 5 years, it's fine when you're getting started and motivation is high. But when you're 6 weeks in and your legs are aching a little bit and it's cold and dark outside and you've forgotten why you even started this, that's when it gets hard and it's not that sustainable. So we still want to create that 500 calorie deficit, but rather than just eating 500 calories less a day, which is the equivalent to a normal sized meal, what I want you to do is eat 250 calories less a day. And you might be thinking, well, Doug, the maths doesn't add up then, and you'd be absolutely right. But what I also want you to do is move 250 calories more. So now you're moving 250 calories more and you're eating 250 calories left. You've created your 500 calorie deficit, because what we've actually done is increased your maintenance calories by 250. We've made your lifestyle a little bit more active, and burning an extra 250 calories per day is a lot easier than it sounds. You don't have to be in the gym for 2 hours, 7 days a week doing vigorous HIIT workouts. You could very simply commit to walking for 1 hour every single day, or you could mix and match. You could go for a 1 hour walk 3 times a week. You could run for 30 minutes once a week, and you could go to the gym for 45 minutes twice a week. All of those things in isolation are going to burn about 250 calories. As long as you are doing something every day, then you're going to be absolutely fine. And now the best part is you only have to eat 250 calories less. And honestly, that's just cutting out one snack or a Starbucks coffee or a sugary drink or a fruit juice or a chocolate bar every day. And suddenly, when we do it that way, when we look at things that way, it becomes a lot easier. It becomes a lot more sustainable. But you can also burn calories doing activities that you wouldn't even consider exercise. Cleaning the house, running around with your kids, having sex with your partner. A little bit of a tangent, but this is genuinely what annoys me when people say, yeah, but I've got kids, so it's much harder for me. Now listen, I'm not being funny, but your kids should be the reason that you work out, not the excuse for why you don't. If you're a parent, whether you like it or not, you are a role model. And I'm sorry if this is hard to hear, but if you are overweight, gluttonous, and lazy, then right now, you are a terrible role model. But hear me out, even if you are in that position right now, if you start to implement the steps that I'm taking you through today, if you start to put in the effort to try to change, just watch how your kids act. Almost overnight, they will see the change in you. Kids are so perceptive and intelligent, it is terrifying. We do not give them enough credit. Us adults, we're dumb. We are stuck in our ways, man. And the best part is if you're changing your behavior, they will start to modify theirs. And then they will idolize you. But not only that, they will be so much healthier and happier. Your kids should be your driver. So I don't want to hear anybody come at me and say, yeah, but I've got kids, so it's hard. Yes, it is hard. But guess what? That's part of life. Anyway, rant over. Let's move on to step 3. Step 3 is to create a plan and to stick to it. The people who plan are putting focus into something. Where you put focus, you will create change. Not only that, it gets even better, guys. Because if you create a plan, you won't even have to be in a 500 calorie deficit every single day. Because as long as you average a 500 calorie deficit per day over the course of the week, you are still going to be burning those 3,500 calories we need to burn to lose 1 pound of fat. And this approach is going to give you so much more freedom, so much more control, and it's going to make it so much more sustainable. And remember, that's the goal of this video, for you to be able to lose 1 pound of fat every single week, like clockwork, without even trying. So what this looks like in practice is that you have high calorie days and low calorie days. The way I like to structure this, and the way I generally encourage my clients to structure this, is having lower calorie days at the start of the week when motivation is high and social occasions tend to be at a minimum, and then backload your high calorie days towards the weekend where you're a little bit more tired, a little bit more stressed, and you want to go out and socialize and have fun with your friends and family. So the way I would structure it is make Monday to Thursday your low calorie days and Friday to Sunday your higher calorie days. Okay, step 4, you're going to track your calories and weigh your food. For some reason, this is the one that puts most people off, and I do understand why. It creates friction, it makes it slightly harder, it puts a barrier up in front of you. You have to download apps, you have to buy scales, it takes time, it takes effort, you have to remember to do all this stuff. But listen, really, if we're being honest with one another, if you really want this, you'll do it. And honestly, this is what weighing your food looks like. Here's my food scales, here's me not weighing my food, and oh, look, here's me weighing my food. Now, I don't know if any of you had your stopwatches out, but I'm pretty sure that was an extra 0.5 seconds. It's hardly taxing or painful, right? And guys, the good news is, in the grand scheme of things, you don't have to do this for very long. If you track and weigh your food consistently for 8 weeks, you'll never have to do it again for the rest of your life. And given that the average human lives for about 4,000 weeks, me suggesting that you do this for just 8, when you look at it from that perspective, it's hardly a big deal, is it? And the reason that this process is so powerful is because it helps you to build a level of self-awareness that most people don't have around their food, around what you're eating, but most importantly, around how much you're eating. Because most people who are dieting actually underreport the number of calories that they've eaten by 50%. And then what makes it even worse is that they normally overreport the calories that they're expending, the number of calories that they're burning, by another 50%. In other words, they have absolutely no idea. But doing this process and sticking to it consistently for 8 weeks helps you to realize the real calorific and nutritional value of the food that you're eating. And by doing it, you'll notice that it starts to shift your habits and your behaviors for the better. You will want to eat healthier because you will see the numbers. And seeing the numbers on the screen, it takes the emotion out of it, activates the logical, rational part of your brain. Think about it this way. How are you meant to create a calorie deficit if you have no idea how many calories you're even eating? You can skirt around this, and I've seen people skirt around this for years. They've tried every diet and they've convinced themselves that calories don't matter. I deal with this all the time in the comment section of my video. People come at me with all sorts of stuff. I've heard it all, I've seen it all. But those people, whether it's 6 months or 6 years later, end up back where they started. Nowhere, no progress. Please don't be one of those people. If you want to lose weight and you want to do it in a sustainable, balanced way, then you are going to need to do this. Whether you do it now, whether you do it in 5 years, it's completely up to you. So let this video be the catalyst to you burying all the excuses and just doing it. It's not hard, so grow up, get over it, put your big boy pants on, download MyFitnessPal, buy a set of scales from Amazon for $10 and get to work. And this is the coolest part. In 8 weeks' time, you'll be able to look at food like Neo sees the Matrix. You'll be able to look at it and estimate with a 90% accuracy how many calories are on your plate. You're also going to be able to estimate how much protein is in your meal. And that leads me very nicely into the final step, step 5, protein. If we're going to make your diet and your weight loss journey as easy and sustainable as possible, then we want you consuming more protein. And the reasons for this are threefold. There are 3 macronutrients: protein, carbohydrates, and fat. They all have nutritional value and they all have a place in your diet. Don't listen to anybody who says you can't eat carbs. Don't listen to anybody who says you have to be vegan or you have to be carnivore. Don't listen to anybody who says you have to be keto. Those people are morons. Those people are the type of people I told you about earlier who skirt around this issue for years, convincing themselves that they're special and calories don't matter. All of the macronutrients have their place, but protein specifically is probably my favorite. Protein as a word actually originates from the ancient Greek word protos, which stands for first. The fact that the Greeks were calling it first gives you an indication of how important it is. And in the context of dieting and losing weight, protein is amazing because it's very satiating. It fills you up. And if you don't believe me, go and try and eat 3 plain chicken breasts in a row. You are going to feel very full. And the reason for this is very straightforward. Protein of the 3 macronutrients is the hardest for your body to break down and to digest. That means it physically sits in your stomach for longer. So your stomach is literally fuller. But because it's also harder for your body to break down than carbs and fats, it also requires more calories for your body to digest it. In other words, it has what we call a higher thermic effect. It's a more metabolic process. And this is pretty cool because any metabolic process, whether you're running on a treadmill, rowing, lifting weights, or digesting food, requires calories. You are burning calories when you eat your food, and you're burning more calories when you eat a high protein diet. So that's benefit number 1 and benefit number 2. Benefit number 3 is on your gut health. High protein diets have been proven to improve your gut microbiome. And this is very good news for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's going to improve your overall gut health. So it's going to reduce the amount of inflammation and bloating. Secondly, it's going to improve your body's ability to actually absorb the nutrients from your food as it's going through your intestines. And thirdly, it's going to prevent you from getting constipated. And it's funny because we talk about constipation in children all of the time, but we never talk about it in adults. We know the effect it has on children. It makes them more grumpy, more grouchy, more irritable. Well, guess what effect it has on adults? Exactly the same, because we are literally big kids. So there you have it, the 3 benefits of protein. It's satiating, has a higher thermic effect of food, and it improves your gut health. And that's it, guys, the 5-step process that's going to make it so easy for you to lose 1 pound of body fat every single week without even trying, that you cannot even fail. And the best part, if you've listened to everything I said, and more importantly, if you implement everything I've said, your results are guaranteed. I can say that with 100% conviction. Not only because I've done it myself, I lost 45 pounds in 4 months. Not only because I've worked with over 100 clients and helped them to do it, but because it's also proven time and time again in the scientific literature. But I appreciate that simple doesn't always mean easy. So if you've listened to everything that I've said and you like the sound of it and you want to start, but you don't know where or how to, maybe because you don't know what to do in the gym or you doubt your own ability to stick to a plan and need some accountability, then that's where my online coaching program can be a complete game changer. The bad news is that right now, at the time of me recording this video, I'm fully booked. But the good news is that I've just opened up the waiting list for my next intake. So if you want to lose 20 pounds and double your energy in the next 90 days without having to follow a strict diet or spend your life at the gym, then click the second link in the description underneath this video and answer the 3 quick and easy questions to find out if you're a good fit for my program. And if you're not interested and you're just here for the content, then no worries. I appreciate you watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I would love it if you could show your support by smashing the thumbs up button. And of course, subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss the next video. And until then, bye.